well. Hello there. It's Eldor, or the Masterversal-Toyhunter here. Yes, I was standing at the great eye of the universe, and I thought, why not make my own custom figure, for better or worse? Come with me, and let's see what things we can make with our creativity. Ooh, well, don't just stand there. Come on down. And so, with our tools and materials gathered, what figure shall we make with a little magic? Let's see. A bit of this. A bit of that.
Look out, He-Man.
And maybe some kick. Oh dear. And I think some of this will do the trick. Yes, sir. So, no matter if it's night or day, come rain or shine. I think it's a good day for some custom figure time. Indeed.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to custom figure time. When I'll go about and show you how I do my custom action figures, and show you all the different methods that I use, sort of a document of how I go through everything. So yes, welcome everybody, all you YouTubers and fellow Tonians. You're on candid camera, you might say. All right. So just before we get our camera fingers ready there, let's see who we have in the chat. So I've got a bit of a hickory-pickory set up, you might say, with the great eye of the universe today. So hopefully everything is running smoothly and there's no echoes. So let me know if things are going a bit silly and whatnot. Right, let's go over to the chat here and see who we have. Ooh, hello there, Rolando Flores, sir. Welcome, and thank you for joining me. And there he goes there. And following him, we had another talented customizer there, Kinzo's Creations. Yes, welcome into the channel there, sir. And who else have we here? And Alison Troy is there somewhere, I believe. Oh, and there she goes. And yes, another creative and talented person there, both with customs at times, and also she does her colouring in with different pictures and what have you. And she'll put up her shorts there, or sometimes she'll go live, as well as that. Talking about some action figure history, maybe, or other histories and so forth. And yes, and she'll sometimes have another person on with her, and they'll be both chatting and colouring and so forth. Yes, that's very good. Thank you for joining us today, Alison. All right, who'll have me next here? And oh yes, always on the ball there. We have Mary Atwell, our radical mum. Yes, sir. Welcome then, and good evening to you. All right. Looks like that's all that. All right. So yes, I'm going to be talking about a custom action figure that I've been working on today. Over the past weeks too, mind you. And yes, so this one started off not quite as planned. As I say, yes, I was working through my planning on my Masterverse King Hiss custom there. And yes, I bought a spare Masterverse Sunman Pighead, because I'm going to be using the loincloth off him, you see, because he's a nice scale mail loincloth there, I believe you say. And so I was going to use that on my King Hiss custom. And so I was looking at the rest of the pig head figure there, and I was thinking, what else could I use them for there? I've got a box of all the fodder parts mounting up, and I was looking through everything and thinking what I could do with it, and yes, the colours seem to almost match one peculiar figure that some of us have all heard about there, the Fearless Photog, created by a wee lad back in the 80s there, and of course Mttel redesigned it slightly. Apparently gave it new colours because he hadn't quite envisioned some of the colours that they used. I don't know what they would have been or what his plans were, but yes, what eventuated in classics, of course, we got a blue body with his yellow arms in a sort of a two-tone there, bit of a half black and half yellow, and he had a blue overall body buck. So yes, I thought I might as well try a bit of a custom now of a Fearless Photog there, and so yes, here we are so far with what I've done with the custom. So if you take a photo, it'll last longer. Yes. All right. So I suppose we'll get down to the nitty gritty then. So yes, I gave it a bit of a rough sand, to allow the milliput to grab hold there and not, fall off. Because usually the milliput's only really a tacky sort of setting stuff if you don't really have any way for it to grab onto, and of course it can flake off quite easily. So yes, get a bit of a rough sanding there, getting rid of the smooth edges, if you will. In there, yes. So after I sanded all that up, I made a wee his wee lenticular that they ended up giving him in classics. His wee a TV screen, I suppose, with they had a couple of people running or something, what have you, when you did the wee lenticular flip there. But yes, Fearless Photog was one that came out in the 80s there. As we all know, a wee boy entered in Mttel. Mttel was running a bit of a design your own action figure competition there, and they had several people submit their designs and what have you. I think they settled on a few final ones, and of course there was a bit of a grand prize, I believe. So was it a trip to Disneyland or one of those lands, and a bit of gold there to fund the old education. So anything very important there, and so this one wee boy was picked, and he of course got his trip there to whatever land it was, some sort of theme park, I believe, on Earth there, and so he went on that, and he got his money to kickstart his grand education and so forth, and yes, something interesting happened indeed. And they got his design there, and of course he based it on a bit of a camera or something, one of those imaging devices he had there on Earth, and so he went about that, and he got the name Photog from somewhere, so he thought that'd be a rather interesting name. It sounds fairly Italian, I suppose. And yes, so he ended up calling him a Fearless Photog. And because, he's only a wee lad, he probably hadn't had much art training, I suppose. So he traced sort of a movie camera, maybe, or one of those cameras, and used that for making his head there. And yes, so as the story goes, of course, Mttel was creeping towards the end of the Masters of the Universe line, the vintage line back in the 80s, and unfortunately his figure was never made as promised. That was a bit on the nose, Yes, and And so the rest was history for a few years, and then old classics rolled about there. And old Scott Lightlick, he was sitting in his chair and thinking what he could do for I believe, the 30th anniversary of Master Universe. So I think he pumped out a few obscure characters, and then the Fearless Photog was one that crossed his mind there. And so he managed to get in contact with the fellow years older now. He's from a boy to a man, you might say. And so yes, he managed to sort that up, and the figure was, of course, created for classics. And then we got him there. Unfortunately, I don't have that figure, so I have something close to it, I suppose you would say. So it's good that he finally eventually saw the figure to be made, because of course, with Mttel stopping the Masters Universe line, there was possibly no point in continuing it. So yes, there was a bit of a shame, but at least he got his prize gold, I suppose. So let's get back to the chat there. Everybody saying hello, and oh yes, you saw what I did there. Yeah, indeed. All right, so let's get back to the subject at hand. I got the old pot bubbling away on the stove for some hot water there, and this will go through a bit of custom work in a few moments. But yes, come back to the chest here. I had my top torso piece sorted up and all sanded out, and then it was time to start planning the old sculpt there on the TV screen on the chest. And yes, so I started off with the lenticular surface first. So I measured it all up there, and roughly, more or less, and yes, I drew a wee template onto paper there, and of course I left a bit of middle around the outside, because I wanted the screen to be held in by a little bit of overlip of putty there, just to hold everything in, and so nothing's falling out. But you don't have to. Of course, you can sand any object there and push it on, and it should stay put. But for this, I decided to do a little bit of framing using the putty itself. In other words, and so yes, I mixed my putty up, and I took a little bit first and just plonked that on the chest, and after I'd cut the screen out from a bit of a container of plastic, like a ice cream container, I suppose you'd say, and or one of those big yogurt containers, I guess, and yes, I ruled my little framing line once I cut that out, and then I started working all the putty around underneath and at the side, and rolled some thinner pieces up just to lay across the frame there, and push that down, and started using my I don't have the correct one here because I misplaced it, but you can use various different sculpting tools, like a bit of a dentist pick there, clean the old teeth there, so you got a nice white smile when you have a picture taken. All right, so yes, you can use maybe a knife or something if you got one, and yes, I've got a sculpting knife myself, and so I use the flat edge there just to roughly square everything up and so forth, and you don't have to be quite so neat, because of course later on you can dig in with the old sandpaper there, and clean everything up and get a nice smooth look and nice sharp edges there, or you can sand off the rough edges, if you will. And yeah, so as long as you've got it roughly in the shape you want, of course there'll be some little imperfections here and there, and yes, and then I using my sculpting tools just gouge little lines out there to make the side detail on either side, and then of course doing the same motions, just made little grill like designs going down that little area, and also of course I decided to add a bit of artistic license other than what we saw in the classics figure or the drawing design there. And yes, so he moved his head out of the road. Yes, I thought I'd add a little design on top of the TV going off the the play button type logo or design. So that's where that was inspired from. Just a little bit of detail to get the top off there. And of course I've got two little notches there where I drill a couple of holes, and I'm looking to set some little conduit pipe going over his shoulders there. And so that was that more or less. And after I had everything roughly sculpted out, I let it set for about overnight there, and or give or take. And it's just kind of a bit of a sanding block, nice flat surface there, and just sand everything up, get it all nice and neat there, and then came with a bit of a fine grit sandpaper, did a bit of a wet sand there, just to get rid of all the rougher sanding grout lines. And so yes, and that was that, and so I sculpted his glove cuffs on next. So of course I removed the van braces that came with pighead off there, and I see they had cut in the arm a little, so they fit more or less nice and neat. So yes, I mixed up some more Miller puff there, which is this stuff here. It comes in two lots there, the hardener and the putty itself, and just sort of you cut two equal pieces of that, and you sort of mix it together there. You can until you have a consistent color, of course, and that lets you know it's all mixed up and what have you. And so yes, I started off with just rolling up some lengths, and just put wrapped one length around there, and one length around the top there to make that sort of that bunchy area. And then came with a bit of a more flatter strip, and just went around the middle, and then using the old the sculpting tools there, just blended everything together, more or less, and yes, pushing in with the butt end of the sculpting knife. They had more of a nubbly curved end. I sculpted in all the different fabric distortions and folds and so forth. Get my whiskers out of the road there. There wasn't anything else in there. Oh yes, we had Adam over there, medical toys. Huh. Suppose you could get off your games there, sir. And yes, thank you for joining me there. Yes, I watched the video Ghostbusting there earlier. I hope you caught them okay. And yes, what else do we have here? That's a perfect ugly head sculpt. Oh yes, I know. We'll get on to that later. And what's that I'm saying here? Oh yeah, I was going to play Mortal Kombat, but saw you alive there. Oh yes, good to have a rest from it. You've been fighting ghosts all day, pretty much. Don't know how you get on with it, all the Mortal Kombat after. So, well, yes, very good. Did we miss anything out there? No, we're on the top of it, I see. All right. And yes, you can by using maybe the sharp end of the knife, you can sculpt in the sewing seams on either side. I see the gloves themselves had a bit of a seam design. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera there, but yes, I sort of went in line with that, more or less. So that was done on both sides there to give them his glove cuffs. And of course, the folds and the wrinkles in the fabric were different on either side, but nothing's the same from one arm to the other, And yes, so that's all the sculpting I've done there so far on the body itself. And yes, I'm looking for a headpiece there, getting onto that not quite Dolph Lundgren head sculpt there. It wouldn't be very good in the photograph, maybe. But yes, I thought he looked looked heroic enough, you know. Having a different light, have his head down, you know, you can change his look maybe. But no, I'll settle with the head, and I'm gonna paint his hair maybe a dark brown color, or what have you. So that this is going to be the head I'm going with, I suppose. And yes, so moving on, I started the work on the you know, the camera head there. And so I just getting my whiskers on the road again. Yes, I had a pile of these older G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra accessories. Of course, the figures came with these bigger missile launchers and all this sort of stuff, you know. And so I found a couple of pieces I thought would be good for his helmet camera there. And of course, I believe in the classics, you could push the oh no, it's not quite ready yet, but you can push the, you know, you push the middle lens in and out of the classics figure. So once I file down the platform that is attached to this smaller piece there, I'm hoping to have it, you know, move in and out. And so explaining the headpiece, but yes, so I've made a little a separation out of masking tape there, because I'm going to come with milliput and sculpt the all the, you know, the helmet, rest of the helmet details there. So this masking tape will separate the putty from the head sculpt, of course, and there'll be a little bit of extra gappage there to allow me to you know, slip the helmet on and off the head and what have you. So doing something similar to how I started off with the chest screen. I'll probably plonk a bit of putty there and, you know, attach the pieces of those missile launching weapons from the camera head on, and then just start sculpting around the head and adding a few bits of plastic on there to make some of the details and so forth. But anyway, I got the pot bubbling, and don't want all my water to bubble away. So all right. And last night I prepared his shield, which looks like a bit of an old style a Flash design. So this is the unsanded sculpted, of course. You can pick up all the bumpy surface there around the outside. But that was what I mentioned before. You can come with your you know, your sandpaper there and get everything nice and sharp and spiffy, in other words. So this was, of course, a pighead's shield, and I removed the little spike out of the center there, and I ruled a couple of lines going down. So he's holding it like so. I thought I had more or less had it was logical to have the lines going down this way, of course, as it is in the design, you see. And so yes, I after that I scored it with my box cutter of power there. And so yes, I don't always use it for opening packages. And yes, just scored the lines a couple of times. You know, you don't go heavy-handed the first time because your knife can slip all over the show. So just a few sort of gradual, slow cuts there, almost like patting a cat. You know, not with your box cutter, of course. What? But you know, just a gentle sort of scrape down with the box cutter or the scalpel or whatever you have there, a samurai sword or something. And yes, I had one of those little hot iron tools I borrowed from Man at Arms. There's a little soldering tool there. I didn't tell them, you know. Don't tell them. And yes, just sort of melted, because those lines, once I got a few good scores out of them, created a bit of a guide for the melting tool. Well, but still a bit sort of touch and go, really. You've got to be very concentrating on your motions there, because being a hot tool, it can, you know, move all over the place, and you don't end up with quite a straight line as you would like. So yes, that more or less made a little guide for the sharp tip of the soldering lines, and just went down each line there, just to spread them out a little bit and make a bigger grout design. And then yes, I sculpted in, just rolling up little thin pieces of milliput, and sculpted in this sort of design in there first, and then just carefully cutting that little centerpiece out, and then in fact I did use this tool for that. I just sort of carefully went through there and lifted it all out, and then you can use the flat edge there just to sort of a bit of water beside you. Yes, and multiple tends to be a bit sticky, so there's a glass of water beside you there, and it tends not to stick so much. And so yes, just dipping in the water there and running it backwards and forwards along the edges there, and you get some nice smooth edging going around. So as long as you're sort of smooth around on the insides, and when you come with your sandpaper, pretty much takes care of the rest, which is also what I did here on the inner frame of my custom chest piece here. Just sort of, you can get a flat a little edge going on. You just sort of run it backwards and forwards, a bit of water there, and smooths everything over rather nicely. And then, of course, as I said, you go with the sandpaper and take care of the rest there. Get that all cleaned up. All right, so I'm going to do a bit of a tutorial now, but let's just get back to the comments first and see what we have here. So everybody's saying hello, and Kenzo's finishing. Oh, you see old Mortal Kombat there. Yes. Did we? Here we go. No. So one group Cyclones did ship out, of course, to U-Shop there. So that was the US address, but no, still no word on the ones that are shipping direct here to Eternia. Yes, I was a bit something funny happened. Yes, when I ordered my first group Cyclones, of course, mine included. Yes, they went through, and then I went onto my other account using my other web browser there, I believe you say, and ordered the second group's figures. But yes, I was short of money. What? I had plenty of money for both groups, and going back to the first order, I see Mttel now charging a sales tax. What? So that threw me off, of course, having the second group's figures shipped to Eternia. So, of course, the US rate to U-Shop was cheaper at $6.95, because it's usually about 50 odd to get it out this way. So I was faced with having to yes, get the second group's figures shipped to U-Shop, and then have them shipped to Eternia. So yes, I was caught up in that by surprise indeed, because I never had that with all the other sales. I had all the correct money I needed for everything, but yes, I decided to charge a bit extra now. Probably all that business with no shipping outside of the US they had. Of course, they had that same issue there last year too. So that's that. And Twy Mama, she's got off her gaming there to join me. Good evening there, Twy Mama. Thank you for joining us today. And so yes, I'm about to check on the boiling pot of water. But yes, I might fill it up. We'll see how we go. So yes, I'm going to talk about removing the old cod section from the upper torso. The Mttel didn't quite make it easier for us to customize these figures in those respects. Of course, you can pop the bicep off from the shoulder piece there, or you can pop the hands off, and yes, you can pop the boots off too, and the feet, and of course at the legs, you pop them off, and usually you can heat up the the belt and loin cloth there, and pull that down, and we'll hide where are we there? And yes, you can pull the loincloth and belt off, and then what have you. And of course, pop the head off too. But with some other areas like your joints, you have to get a bit more invasive surgery on the go, you might say. So yes, heating these areas up there, and then forcing a bit of a bend to expose the forks that are either side of the main joint piece here. So you can split those aside. You can get a scalpel in there and cut the pin that runs through. But these are pinless joints, so They don't have a starter where the pin would go in. I believe they're all somehow 3D printed that way. And so you have to get the knife in there, and if you can get it separated enough, you can cut the pin in the middle there, and then pull that away. And of course, when it's cooled down again, and the leg becomes more or less solid, and you can use it for something else, and or reuse the different joint pieces like the elbow and the kneecap, and if you're going for a certain color of figure. And yes, once you heat everything up again, you can reinsert these joint pieces there. And once it's all cooled down there, they're not going to pull out there unless get a bit Hulk Buster on it. And everybody's still saying hello, so that's good. So yes, the one that usually troubles customizers, of course, is the removing the cod section away from the torso, because it's all a bit of a mushroom peg going on the inside, which means it grabs a little bit of the base of the plastic here, so you can't remove it. And so we're going to go over how we can do that today. So there are various ways of going about that. One way I do it is using a gentle stroke down with your box cutter. You can cut a gentle line, just following the seam, the joint seam there that you'll see. It's kind of hard to see. You might need to use a bit of a pencil or something just to mark out where it is. You just gently cut down, but in the place of figures like this, they have a loincloth and a belt. It's also easier to remove those. And of course, remove the legs first, because it makes it easier to remove the loincloth and belt off without the legs there, of course. And you come to it underneath there. Let's see if we can get it on the camera. So you see the seam runs underneath there too, and you can get your knife in there and split it from underneath there, which is a little bit more less invasive than cutting down the seam line, because of course inside the lower torso itself there are joining pins that are glued together, so you've got to cut through those also, and then you're able to once you've got that more or less split, you can use a thinner, maybe a thinner knife there. Ooh, scary time. Yes, I'm sure Duchess would have a few stories there. And so yes, you get a thinner knife and just sort of pry, the two ends apart there, and that'll cause a bit of a split running up. So I've got old many faces here. So I'm going to be using some of him in this custom. I was looking at the classics figure, Fearless Photog. I noticed he had a similar design in the front cod area. So I picked myself up a spare many faces there. And I thought I might, I was going over the figure too, I thought I might use some of his a conduit pipe, just carefully sort of more or less cut away just at the base there, and glue some of those maybe over the shoulders of my custom figure, and going into the wee ports in the top of the TV set that I've sculpted on his chest. And so yes, and I was looking at the legs too, and I know the classics figure, the yellow and black colouring goes all the way down his legs here, and they don't quite have the boots that we're used to seeing in most of these figures. So I thought I might go a bit of a different route. Yes, I see there's been a few fan designs out there. Some of them had more robotic boots going with Fearless Photog. So I thought I might pop the boots off old many faces there, and use those on the legs of my custom figure. And of course, Fearless Photog, along with his shield, he has those like camera weapon. So I thought, yes, maybe a bit of sculpting over top, or adding a few plastic pieces upon the toys, maybe might make his camera like a weaponry, using many faces blaster there. So that was a wee idea I had there. So yes, once you've see figures like this, you can't really remove the belt or the loincloth. So that's when you have to get a bit more invasive. unfortunately. And you just sort of cut down the sides there with your box cutter of power. And I thought I might go through that day today. So yes, how about we get things charged up there? And of course I'll have to go and have a look at that boiling pot of hot water. Don't want it all evaporate on me. So but yes, let's get on to charging things up there.
By the power of Grayskull, I have the box cutter. Oh dear.
Hey. Yes, we're primed up, ready to go there. Hang on a second, we'll just check everything there. Usually odd things happen when after I charge up my box cutter of power. But no, we're still in one piece there, so no surprises this time. So yes, let's get things on the go there. So just gently, you don't have to go all the way up the torso, just sort of where the rib cage top starts, and you just sort of gently, just softly going down there. You know, we're not in any rush, and of course you just need to be gentle, not to go all the way down and make markings on your pieces you don't want marked up. Of course, you just have to be a bit careful there. We'll just sort of just gently going. You get nowhere fast if you very hard pressure on things, and that's when accidents happen. Anyone in the chat there? Oh yes. Yeah. Welcome there, Wraith Mace. So I'm happy you could join us, and good evening there. And so yes, and we're all saying hello, and oh, very good. Welcome indeed. So yes, we're just going over popping off the COD section on these Masterverse figures, which Mttel gave us a bit more of a job on their hands as far as customizing goes. So he's made a few careful cuts there, making sure to follow that seam line. And once you've gone through a few times, then you can start to easing on the pressure a bit more, get more of a cut going in, and then you feel the tension more or less. You can do a bit of a wriggle and a sort of up and down leverage poke in there, just gently, mind you, and then eventually you'll feel a bit of give, and then your job's not over yet. Of course, you've got to go in a bit more and cut those joining pegs that are just on the inside. So they're more or less just around the bottom there. And so we're digging. And you'll hear a snap, of course, when you go through the joining peg. But then you just keep going down quietly to the bottom, because, of course, the plastic also runs underneath there, between the cod piece and the joining pegs on the inside. So there's one side done there. And how about we do a bit of magic there? Don't want to be too long in it. You've got the whole pot of hot water going on. So we'll just do a bit of magic there. And there we go. All right, so once you've more or less done both sides there, you get your order. Get your Friday the 13th out there. And we just gently slide the knife into where you've made your cut there, and then you might hear a wee snap. Sometimes the plastic will split all the way up the side of the inner torso piece, and we'll just pry it apart there, of course, and then we do the other side. Yeah, and there we go. Caldwell's your uncle. All right, so once we've got all that done, we should be able to pry everything apart, of course. There we go. Oh, it's a bit fiddly, mind you, but just a bit of a wriggle and a split. So there we go. And of course, if I can, it went all the way up there. So we take this piece out and we have a look at what's on the inside. So yes, you'll see these two lower pegs here are the ones you need to cut through, of course. I don't think they're quite heavy-handed on the glue around these the bottom parts. It depends if the factory worker had their coffee or not, I suppose. All right, so we've got that all out of the way. And of course, we want to swap this piece over with what we have here. So removing this cop section, and of course we want to remove the legs out of here and switch them over with these legs, and then lastly switch the boots over. So we'll quickly see to this one here, and more or less first verse, same as the first, I suppose. And let's see. Let's go back to the chat there and see what's going on. Sweet, just dropping in to say hello before the Monday hits. Oh yes, we all love the older getting up in the morning, don't we? Oh yes, I'm pleased you can join me there, Red may say. And we've got a new face in the chat there now, a tasty cake. Oh, hello there, sir. Yes, thank you for joining, and good evening. And oh yes, Kings is saying hello, and oh, he's looking good. The transformation is coming along. Yes, we're getting there in stages. So it's got to be quicker. I don't want all that water to bubble away, of course. So I didn't put it on a higher setting this time, so there should be plenty of water in there for what we need to do. And so yes, I'm just carefully following down that line there. Because if you score it lightly a few times, it'll give you that that guideline for when you get a bit more heavier and using your scalpel, of course. But you notice that the seam line is not quite straight. It's it curves around like that and then goes straight down. So yes, we're just starting off where it starts to do that curve there. Right, so I believe we're almost through it. So this one we start doing a light dig, just sort of looping up and down there, like you're working the presses, you know, working up a bit of a sweat, and eventually you'll find the knife starts almost going in like a hot knife to butter. I believe you say try to keep it straight, you know, but yes, eventually get in there, and then you'll feel that give. So that's when you need to start cutting through the joining tab. Or you know, the other way of doing it, of course, as I mentioned before, is you can come in just at this angle here, and you can see there's like two molding areas where that peg is. So that gives you a rough idea where everything is. But I suppose you can twist the torso there. I mean the waist there, rather, to get things out of the road, so you get a good amount of blade in under there, and yes, just give it a bit of a wriggle there. Just taking your time, you know. We're not in any rush or anything. And so, what's else happened in the news there? Oh yes, we had all the packaging there for Cringer, Prince Adam, finally released. And of course, a few places have put on a clawful and spiker up for pre-order there. So we can finally pre-order those figures. And well, yes, the packaging art is looking rather nicely, I think. So Fetch, is it Fetch Art or something? I did handle the artwork on that this time, and of course, we have Roy Wawes, I believe you said. He designs all the packaging and the graphic designs and what have you. And then we, of course, we've got Joshua Sky, who does some mini comics there. I'm not sure. I think we're getting a mini comic with the 2-pack. I guess. I wonder what packagings will be revealed for us with Old Evil Lynn and a few of the other ones that got released there. So we're going to try and pop these two seams apart there. Just a bit of a wriggle, and there we go. You hear a slight wee snap. And of course, yes, it went all the way up there again this time, so we'll just carefully pop it all out. Of course, we got the glue there. You can clamp everything back together then and glue it all up. All right, so the old pot's been bubbling on the stove there, so we'll quickly get back to the chat there. And who do we have? Infinite moi. How should I feel? I don't know. Just whatever you're feeling in the moment, I guess. Hopefully you've had a good day, I suppose. And bad day. I deleted it. Just made the video. Oh, you had a bit of a rough day, have you? A test cake say. Oh, well, I hope things are a bit more better for you tomorrow. Then. All right. How's your Sunday, Mr. Reverend? Oh, it's Monday for us here in Eternia, so all in all, a nice belt of sunshine in the sky there, I suppose. And no wind raiders flying over there to create a bit of a stink or noise. But anyway, I'll put you on a bit of an intermission there, and I'll go check on the hot water and see how that's going. All right, yes, I was talking too much there, and the water bubbled a bit too low, so put a little bit more water in the pot there, and yes, turned up the heat a bit more, so hopefully that shan't take too long for us there. All right, let's get back to the comments, I suppose. Testicate. I feel better after making the Kermit video, and I messaged a friend. Oh yes, and had a bit of a talk there, and putting your mind on other things, I suppose, helps to take the edge off if you had a rather bad day or bad experience, I suppose. And Infinite Wow, curious about the status of He-Man. I don't think he's been called to arms today. I think it's been fairly quiet there. Skeletor hasn't, crept out of his dark cave at Snake Mountain there, so all seems relatively peaceful in the land of Eternia, which as it should be. But whenever the balance needs to be kept, of course, we have old Zodak there who comes and makes sure everything is flowing and balanced, and then of course we have He-Man, so he does his bit to make sure that the dark forces are not taking over everything and what have you, and trying to cause a bit of strife here at Castle Grayskull. So yes, nothing much happening today, I suppose. I guess he's probably doing his He's probably back to his Prince Adam state, doing his princely duties there. All right, so got the hot water back on the bubble there, so we're going to put this apart and swap it back onto this torso piece here, and we're going to remove the legs, of course, and remove the boots to put on the yellow legs there. So of course they just pop off there with a bit of hot water, or a bit of, if you've got a heat gun, I suppose, a hair dryer, put a full on a paste stripper, you might start melting things. So yes, I know the colour is a bit more of the fluorescent green there, but we come with a bit of yellow paint there, and I might go over and rough everything lightly with a bit of sandpaper, so the paint, of course, has something to grab onto, so it's not rubbing off there. I probably don't have to worry so much about the joints there, but well, yes, I'll get the yellow paint, but it's closer to yellow than green, really. So even if there is a bit of rub off it, it won't particularly show up that much. And then we've got to do the two-tone black paint, but I'll do that all another time. Today is just more or less a tutorial. I'm showing you how to remove these cod sections away from the upper torso parts, which is yes, quite a bit of a job there. So while the water is bubbling, I thought I might get sanding away on the shield there. So just get our old sanding block out. And let's see if we've got any more in the chat there. No. How's his hair looking? Oh, yes. Nice and cutly neat, I suppose, as it usually is. Still nice and wavy and golden, I suppose. Yes. All right. We'll just start gently rubbing the smoothing out the surface there around the rim of the shield. You just go about there quietly, and pop the old news on. Well, sit by the fire there, like your grandfather used to. You whittle away at the wood to make a little wood carvings or something. I don't know. Or he might just read the newspaper there, or smoke on his pipe. So yeah, just slightly going around there, and go around the outer edge, of course, to get that nice and smoothed over. What will it tell us what grit this is? P80 grit, 80 grit sandpaper. Just to get things going, you don't have to be too heavy-handed with it. But yes, keeping the sandpaper relatively, flat to the surface that you want, or the finish of the surface you want, rather. Because of course, if you take the time while the putty is still soft, you can smoothen over the inner edges there. So it doesn't really matter what state your outer and inner edges are like. So although you can get a little bit of a fine grit sandpaper there if you choose, a bit of a wet sand, and then just go around the inside there with a bit of fine grit. It's not going to mark up anything on the inner space all that much. But usually I find if I handle the smoothness of the hard to reach details while the putty is still soft, then that goes a long way to making a nice a smooth looking project or piece. So yes, you might find you come across a few bumps still. You just carefully sand all that down. But yes, let's go see how that hot water is going in. And infinite, fantastic channel. Thank you then. Thank you for joining me as I go through my custom figure of the Fearless Photog here. So yes, and this is a segment I have called Custom Figure Time, where I go over just little tips, or I might work on a custom figure that I'm creating there, and I just share with you how I'm doing all that and whatnot. And also too, I might interview some other creatives out there, as I have done so in the past. So there's a few of those videos here you can browse through. Yes, speaking of Joshua Sky, who writes the mini comics for Origins. Yes, I heard him on the channel talking about his writing work, and how he climbed up the ladder to success, as it were. So yes, he's a rather good fellow to talk to. All right, I'll just DM. Oh, DM, Dungeons and Dragons. Oh no, no, I don't. I used to play the game back in my younger years when I was more spry and springy as I am now. Yes, played all the meat shields like bugbears and dragonborn, but a bit more mellowed out now my age. I'm 1,003 years later, so I know I might be one of the backbenchers there, sit to the side and play maybe a mage character or something. And I'm not really into the fighting action there. Too old for that now. So just a wave of the hands, if you will. But yes, I'll go check that hot water out, and yes, I'll put you on an intermission there. Feel free to quickly get a drink or a snack if you like. All right, yes, hot water's ready there to start some cooking. So yes, gonna put my chef's hat on there, proverbially, of course. And yes, we've got our tongs ready to dunk our pieces in there. Right, we're in Eldor's kitchen now. So right, we're gonna pop the legs up there, and the frog's feet, chicken legs and frog's feet there, you might say. All right. Oh, okay. Toads and Bogsley, I suppose, yes. All right, let's get cooking here. So, let's get our tongs there so we don't burn ourselves, burn our fingers here. And let's just let that soak in for a little bit. I thought about maybe using the leg pieces there too, but no, we're just going to pop off the boot pieces themselves and replace those with the boots on the main custom figure. Right, I think it's stewed long enough. What do you think? All right, this is going to be it's hot. A bit of hot potato there. Right, so yes, had me dancing all over the show. Oh, snap, crackle, pop. There we go. Here's one. Get the old elbow grease on the Eldor. Oh yes. And can get an angle on these legs. Yes. Oh, I'm working up a sweat there. Like old Rambo. Was it Rocky? One of those two. Oh dear. I probably should get the boots on, maybe. Give me a bit of leverage. Oh. Oh well, there's one anyway. While we're doing that, we'll put all the slot in the hot water there before it all cools on us. And speaking of which, I might pop that back in the hot water there for a few moments. Yes, when you don't have much to hold on to, it gets a bit slidey on you, and it's hard to remove unpop some of the parts. But no, we got the first leg off all right. Let's try the second leg there of the race. Oh. Let's see if we can lever it off with something. Yeah. Oh yes. There we go. Just a bit of the smoother edge of that tool. We got the cop piece popped off there. All right. So we're cooking now, you might say. Right, here we go. I think I might hot, yes. Oh, call the fire brigade. The snout spout. All right, here we go. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, what have we got here? Well, that's funny. Yes, it looks like they put pins. No, they're not a ball joint. They put pins in this one. So, oh, no wonder it wasn't popping off there. Yes, let's have a look here. Yes, it's a ratchet. Oh, now then, that's rather odd there indeed, Mttel. What have you given us here? So they're not the ball joints in the cod section. Well, some of me timbers. I didn't foresee that coming up. Fire is better than dark meat, huh? Oh yes. Any Barbies? No Barbies. Just Masterverse figures here today. Oh, well, thank you there, sir. Or ma'am, rather, or whoever you are there. Yes, so it looks like I might get a bit of a knife in there. I mentioned before how to get the joints out, so I think we might have to get we might have to replace that whole peg system too. I don't know if that's possible there or not. Well, there's another idea. I wonder if I can remove these pieces off here. We'll give that a shot, I think. So we'll put you. Yes, it's a puzzling arrangement they put on old many faces. I suppose if they'd been a more heavier figure, they had to put a ratchet joint in there. But yes, it's not your usual a leg assembly. Puzzling. So I think I don't know if these pieces will pop off there. Because they might operate on a bit of a mushroom peg system, much like the upper torso. Oh, talk about things not running smoothly, indeed. Okay, well, let's have a look there. We might have to go with many faces legs after all, and just paint those flesh tone areas in that yellow colour. I suppose it's a little bit of a diversion from what I had planned to do, but I'll just have a look. Oh, yes, looks like we can. Oh no, I don't think we can. I don't want to try my luck. So we'll just go with many pieces lower torso. We'll just have to discard those legs until I come up with another idea. So we shan't be too long with the video. So we'll just I'll put that back in the hot water and reform that leg there after I stretch the peg. So it appears to be a mushroom type peg there. Otherwise, it sort of popped out rather easily for me. So never mind. All right, moving along. I suppose we'll now that the midsection's all completely split up the side, let's take a look in there. All right, so there's once we've got everything up in the open, you find there's a little a black cradle piece where the ball joint rests on. So we've got all that in there, and of course the mushroom peg of the cod section will just rest in this area here, and then you just cap everything off there with a bit of a assembly, of course. So I think our legs are reforming in the hot water there quite nicely. So get the tongs out and oh, it's very hot. Ooh. Ooh. Hot potato again. Wring everything out there, you know. Let's have a look. Infinite more. What are you saying? What tool are you using? Oh well, where are we? So the tools we use there today, of course, a box cutter power, or you can use any scalpel really. So that was just to split down the sides of the middle torso section, of course, and so you can pop the this part out of the figure, and then we mentioned sculpting tools that I use to sculpt all this the area here around the chest and the glove cups there. And so here's one of the dentist tool I use there. I just you can use one side to create your designs and what have you. And there's this little pick side there. You can cut little squares out and then pick it out with this end. And then we had a old Friday the 13th there. To of course separate the middle torso piece there, so you could pop the legs out. So I think that's all. I might have stretched it a bit too much, but never mind. We're more or less ready to go. All right, so I guess we'll assemble everything back into the middle torso area. There we go. Slide this little base here for the ball joint. So it's fitted in nicely there, and we already add abs to the front, I believe. So yes, we might put the back on first, and then we'll get that slid back into the figure there. But of course, I'll have to glue this down later, of course. And so glues. Well, usually I use a bit of Eisode, two-part glue, much like the putty. If you go to the start of the video, where I mentioned it's a two-part mixture there. So mixing the putty and the hardener together to form your complete sculpting putty. And yes, just talked about how I worked around all that, and so here we go. We're going to put the front torso piece back in there. It's going to be a bit of a fiddly job, but we'll manage. All right. Oh, we might start from the back because it's got to fit into that. Yes. Oh, there we go. I think we've got it there. All right. Yes, it's that black piece that cradles the ball joint between the mushroom peg of the cod section and the ball joint itself. So there you go. We're not quite all glued together, of course, but oh yes, there you go there. So it's a shame that Mttel went a different route of how they do the cod sections, because everything up until now, of course, you end up with this when you put the legs on. Of course, you're like a ball joint, but they've gone and made a pinless like ball joint within the leg piece itself. Yeah, one figure that comes to mind they did that on was the vintage snout spout. It wasn't rubber bands and what have you. It was more of a modernized swivel joint at the legs. I bought one quite a few months ago, and then the leg had been broken off. So I thought, oh yes, I'll probably have to get a rubber band. But when I got the figure in the mail there, I noticed that it operates on a sort of a wee post and a swivel joint that you have a peg going through. So it wasn't your rubber band job and that figure. So it looks like we might have to go this way. Just paint this area here yellow. This one, it's not going to look too bad there, I think. So let's get his head back on there. And so, yes, at the start of the video, I talked about how I'm making the helmet with his video camera helmet. So I made a little bit of a separating base using masking tape. So I might talk a bit more about this, of course. When I first started this stage, I had the sticky surface facing outward, and then just loop the tape around in on itself, and then the same thing with the top piece. I had the sticky surface sticking out. Sticky business there. And then coming with some more masking tape, I had the sticky surface facing down this time, and went over there, and then the same around the outside. So that's given us a bit of a separation from making his helmet. So between the puffy and the head sculpt, so that the puffy doesn't stick, because I want to be able to remove his helmet there. And then of course we've got a few G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra missile launching parts. Although this bigger piece was like a bit of a grabby hands type gimmick. So you push the wee button at the back, and the wee grabby claws opened up. And of course, this little piece in here for the camera lens was just one of the smaller missile launchers. And so that'll create his camera helmet that Fearless Photog has. So yes, and there we go there so far. Of course, we'll get his shield out to create our look. So this is just a rough few stages of working on this custom Fearless Photog. He's got his flash shield out there to blind you. And eventually we'll have his video camera gun, I suppose you call it, accessory there. So we'll do a bit more sculpting on that to make it look something similar to the classics figure, I guess. And yes, and I see I know the classics figure had the gimmick there, being able to retract the lens in and out. And I see where I removed the handle of the grabby, there's a bit of a slide there, so I might be able to put a wee trigger in there to help move this piece in and out, and what have you. So there's a wee idea there, I suppose, to have as a telescopic camera helmet, a bit of a play feature, you might say. Get everything stuck on there straight outdoors. Well, anyway, yes, I want to have a bit of an area there to sculpt all the. There's a bit of the inner detail just under the camera itself, and I'll have two little greebly bits sticking out there, and what have you. But yes, I'll have to see about this leg situation there. I wasn't quite prepared for that. Because this everything Mttel has given us so far, you've been able to pull the legs out quite easily. But no, they've changed how they do the ball joint system in this figure. I hope they haven't done it for all of them, but we'll have to see. All right, well, let's see who else is in the chat here today. Oh, the Briscoe's coming there. Infinite Ma, Jojo, He-Man. Who else needed joints? Or who had the best? Oh, I don't know. The joints seem to have evolved over the years. You had your O-rings and the old G.I. Joes there, and everything's got more modern and complicated since those days of rubber bands, O-rings, and rivet joints. Yes, I see they're trying to come back there with the old O-rings now and the rivets with Delta 17 coming on sale there. Similar to the vintage G.I. Joe line, I believe. The smallest figures and what have you. So, yes, there's that. And I think, was it Super 7 or one of those ones where looking at doing O-rings, coming back in there again with the old G.I. Joe. But, yes, we're not looking too bad there so far on my Fearless Photog Custom. And, of course, as I mentioned prior, I might look at cutting away some of these conduit pipes here on many faces and having them go over the shoulders there and connecting with those wee holes. And if I can get around there, there's some little holes there I sculpted in just with the shoulder and the TV set beats. So I'll probably have them set in place there, and just got a bit of a paint job to do with we're dropping the shield and got some fingers. And I guess I did a bit of painting there on the golf cups to match everything up, and oh no, I don't think I've done too badly there. Just got to glue the two halves of the mid cod section in again after we split things up and what have you. All right, let's go back to the chat here. It's getting away on me. Where's the Briscoe there? I mentioned before. Oh yes, good evening there, Briscoe. So, pleased you could join me. I hope you had a good day, and so forth. And what do you have to say there? I wouldn't mind seeing McFarlane do his take on He-Man. Oh yes, he's got a few interesting gimmicks going on there as far as joints go, especially around the cod section. Like he does the rubbery pants now. That sort of hides all the your leg joints they used to get on all the older figures. So things are evolving quite fast there on Earth. And new technologies and what have you. Now you're 3D printing everything and you're blasting away the gels so you have your joints pretty much going off the bat there. Yes, sir. Very incredible. And yes, Briscoe is saying he's not doing too bad, or she's not doing too bad. Well, yes, I think that's pretty much all I have to show now. Of course, we'll glue everything up, and then I'll probably cut back and we'll show you how things have ended up there. And of course, we've still got some part twos to get through as well. Of course, I have been working on a Skeletor's viewing table, so setting the table up. There's a bit of a 3D print there to put inside Origin Snake Mountain, and yes, so we went around filling that up with a different type of putty, Tamiya paste putty. So it's like your car body filler. You just scrape it all on there with a bit of a scraper or an old credit card or something cut up, and this has had its primer coat sprayed on. Just got to get on to next. We'll be painting it all in a matte black. Then we'll do the dry brushing with the top color of the top, so the black should help us define all the nice track details, and you use the dry brushing and so forth. So yes, so I've got to come back to this, and there'll be a part 2 of that job coming up. And I'm still filming a couple of other custom figure times. Of course, I'll be coming on live to do a bit of work on my custom 87 movie faker. Faker wasn't in that movie, of course, with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. It was just a rotten idea I had. So I bought a spare rubber toy, Masters of the Verse head. I bought 2 of the Verse 2s there. So one of them I cut away half of the face and sculpted a bit of a robot face underneath. And so I'm still waiting on a few materials and paints to finish that, or to have ready for that video. So I'll be doing that live too, hopefully at the end of this month. We'll have to keep pushing it back, you see, until I can have the spare gold there to get all the paint there to, paint his hair orange and paint his hair blue. And yes. That pisses the beauty out of it. Oh, thank you, Briscoe, sir. Yes, I'll keep updating as I go on the old IG there, and I see Eldor Bob. He's starting another painting, which I've also been posting up on the IG. So you can follow me on Instagram there. It's still the Masterversal-Toyhunter on IG. I think it's just Masterverse-Toyhunter, but it could be that. So either way, you should be able to get around to there. Or I should have updated everything in the description, of course. But yes. Beans and greens on toast. Oh yes, I like the old baked beans there. Never had it on toast. I just prefer it plain on the plate, as it were. I might have a bit of toast at the side with a bit of butter on it. But yes, have the old baked beans there, the old musical fruit, as they say. Anyway, yes. So I'm sure you're probably all getting off ready to have your dinners now, or wherever you are. Yes, so we'll sign off there and I'll say, yes, thank you for joining me there today, and I hope you learned a few ideas. And if you're just joining in, then feel free to go all the way back in time there and go through the video again at your leisure. And yes, hopefully I can bring a few more tips and tricks for you to use there, of course. So, and as we do, if you like this video, then hit the like if you like. Yes, and yes, ding the wee notification bell there, so you'll always be notified whenever I'm back on the great eye of the universe. And yes, we'll say a good journey, and cheerio, everybody. And may your custom jobs or your artworks go well. And like Eldor Bob says, we don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents there. And we made a few of those today, I think. Although one of them was not to be foreseen, as far as the legs go. But I did drop his shield on the floor. So yes, again, getting a bit frail on the old arthritis there in my years. All right. Everybody have a good evening, or if you're just waking up, have a good day. And yes, we'll play the ending song there.